Welcome to the Agent Upgrade Podcast with your hosts Jasmine Krnjetin and Alan Corey, where we learn the strategies of top producing real estate agents so you have the tools to upgrade your own real estate career.
Jasmine, welcome to another episode of Agent Upgrade. This is exciting. I feel like we're getting our rhythm, our feet underneath us on these episodes, and we've upgraded to a new live stream platform, and this continues to be fun and exciting. So,
I know. I feel like when we came up with the idea of doing this show, it was just one of those like, oh my God, this sounds like so much fun. And it has been so much fun. I love it.
Yeah, I'm learning so much. I'm meeting new people, and we're getting great feedback. So if you are one of those people that also enjoy the show, please like us and review us on all your media streaming platforms. Apple, iPod, podcast. The Stitchers and everything. All that helps us get in front of a larger and larger audience and bring you more and more great talent here. And we've got an exciting show as well. But before we get to that, how's your new year been? Jasmine, we had some great ambitious goals individually and collectively, but how's yours going?
Everything is going wonderfully well. We're doing good. We started a couple new things this year. We hired a personal trainer, which is a new thing because I really believe that sometimes we need help getting traction with good habits.
Right.
And when you have a trainer show up at your house at 8 a.m. in the morning, and whether it's 24 degrees out there or whatever the weather is, it's like, knock, knock, it's time to get your butt out here and start doing some burpees. So that's been really good. And I feel like, I'm never going to let him down, right? We're going to show up, we're going to go out there, and it's been good. Like, progress is being made. Like when we first started, like holding a burpee for a minute, I thought like everything was shaking. I thought I was going to die. And I think that now we're up to like 2 minutes on our burpees.
Oh, wow.
It's going pretty good.
Awesome. Well, you make a good point. Like you can make every excuse to not go to the gym, but if the gym's coming to you, you can't really hide from that.
Yeah. There's just so much you can do with like, we have like some, a little stack of weights and off we go, dude, there is so much you can do with your, it's like a CrossFit style, of a workout, but it gets your blood flowing. And what I love about it is just the clarity that you get after you have a good workout and you come into the office and you're just like, you're on, like your brain is firing. Everything feels great. But tell me about your life. I think you have been doing something pretty exciting too.
Well, my New Year's was I was going to do a resolution. My New Year's resolution was I was going to create a live stream every single day, Monday through Friday, at the exact same time, almost like a live TV show. And so far, I've kept my end of the bargain up. I've done it every single day. It's an hour show that you can watch on live stream. Ask me questions. The House of AC. It's on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, the House of AC Facebook group. It's just everywhere, and it's been so much fun. I thought it was going to be so much work and difficult, but it's just been enjoyable. It's been fun. I'm getting some great questions that are live. I can interact in real time, and it's great. It's great. So I can't wait to continue it and just to see what's in store. But so far, so great. Yeah, my New Year's off to a good start. Real estate brokerage wise, I've got a new member joining my team this week. Super excited about that. She's a rock star and new, and she's picking things up so quick. So I can't wait to let her, just take over the Atlanta market as a member of my team. So she's going to make me look good, and that's good. And I'm not going to let her down, So
right.
Team there.
That's awesome. But yeah. I really enjoy the live streams. I think that's one of the things that's so great about you. Like if somebody told me like you were going to start doing a live stream every single day for an hour, I would be so stuck in analysis paralysis. Like, what the heck am I going to talk about for an hour every single day? Like it would take me like 3 years to get out of it. But I feel like we talked about it, and then next Monday you're off and running. And I love that about you. You have an idea, you just take it and run with it, no fear.
Well, what it is like I'm very passionate about a few things. One is real estate, and the other is cryptocurrency. And all I want to do is wake up every day and talk about one of those two subjects to my friends and my clients. And I found it's much easier to just Trojan horse myself into their social media feeds and talk to them about these subjects. So that's what the House of AC is all about. So yeah, come check it out. And also I've got a Discord, the House of AC Discord, where I want to invite everyone here from the Agent Upgrade, because we're all real estate agents listening to the show. I want to build this community of real estate people, real estate agents, mortgage lenders, home inspectors, all that. Let's get in the community. This is a forum similar to Reddit. If you're not familiar with Discord, there's a link in my link tree here, linktree/the House of AC. And let's share stories. We're going to talk about every episode in the Discord. So if you have questions, follow-up questions, things like that. So I've got big plans. I want to grow this community, and maybe if you need a baby step, join the Agent Upgrade Facebook group. Follow us on Instagram. That may be the baby step you need, but eventually we're going to get you into the Discord, participating in conversations, things like that. But enough about all that. Let's talk about today's guest. I'm so excited. As a former New Yorker, I love interviewing other New Yorkers. And, Jennifer Tucker's joining us today from Long Island, New York. She is an open book, but she also wrote a book. So we can hear about that and how she helps newer agents sort of really kind of jumpstart their careers.
I love it. Let's get into it.
Okay, let me bring her into the studio here. Jennifer Tucker, thank you for joining us today.
Hey guys, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to really be here. And if my New York accent comes out, AC, you gotta let me know that.
Yeah, okay, sure. Well, I like the New York accent. You say that. My son this morning, he's 11, and I was like, "Get out of bed," and he's like, "Hey," and I was like, "Hey, that sounded very New York." He's like, "Hey, I'm sleeping here." That's a pretty funny way to wake up. But yeah, welcome. All right, so tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into real estate? How did you know this was life for you, and all your success? Because you've been at it for a long time and really proven yourself over and over again.
Sure. Well, yeah, I mean, I grew up here in New York and, did what everyone else did, went to high school, graduated college. I got my teaching degree and started teaching in the city schools and realized that I didn't like people telling me what to do. And administrators really kind of telling me, how to run my lesson and things like that. So something stuck there. And then there's all these red marks next to my name, and I like check marks. So I started my own kids fitness business because my degree is in health and physical education. So I started a kids fitness business where I would go into preschools and teach them. And I was having some success with it, but not very successful. And my mom was in real estate for some time at that time. And she kind of asked me to come along, and I'm like, no, this isn't for me. Of all your children, of the four of us, I'm probably the last one to go into it. But I did. I picked up the phone when she asked me to, and I really became her, the back end of her business, because she was a very successful top producer. So I really started just being her buyer's agent and secretary, scheduling, really doing all the groundwork while she was out really listing properties. I really began to love it and realized that the service that I was looking for with helping children actually was more directed toward helping people or clients find their homes, at least their first home in the beginning. So that's kind of where it all began. And I've been producing now and still producing for 10 years. And I just love it. I mean, the way that you wake up and talk real estate and cryptocurrency, I'm the same way. Yeah. Like, let's go. Like what's next?
I love it. That's wonderful.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like work when that's your energy.
No, it definitely doesn't. I mean, it becomes like this play mode. I mean, I definitely work when I work, but I think I definitely work less hours than what I have in the past. But it doesn't feel like work. I'm just going to visit and talk with people about real estate and all things that I know. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel that I have that same feeling about work, and I've kind of started thinking about it, like what, like when I look at my day ahead, and I'll do a lot of video consultations with my clients, and so every time I get on a video call with a client, I always take a moment and pause and like, okay, what do I need to do to bring my my highest and best self to this game? Like I want to 100% connect with the couple that I'm talking to. And I think that comes, I think people sense that when you're like, I'm willing to stop everything and do this, even though it's virtual now because, of pandemic. For me, I'm meeting with people on video calls, but I feel like you can really just put that intention. And then all of a sudden it's like, I got to meet 8 new couples today, right? And it's exciting. It's like, I learn their story, I hear about their struggles, and so it does not feel like work.
Right.
And by the way, as a plus, we get to talk about real estate.
When you're servicing people and it comes from this, pure place, it never feels like work.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're just making new friends, constantly over and over. Yeah. Helping them, on an exciting journey, right? It's not,
Exactly.
like I feel like a divorce lawyer would be a little bit different because then everyone's mad, everyone's angry. But here, everyone's excited and optimistic. Let's go buy a house, and it's fun path.
I would not make a good lawyer. I hate confrontation.
Right.
Not be good at this.
Yeah.
But what I like about you, Jennifer, is I feel that you have kind of figured out a very unique way to find your ideal clients. And I want you to kind of talk to us a little bit about your process.
Yeah, I realized through real estate that, I kind of had this moment when I was sitting in front of a potential listing, and everything seemed to be going well, and the conversation was flowing, and I thought there was some sort of connection. Um, But when I realized, when they called me and said, no, we're going to give it to someone else, I'm like, I didn't understand like what happened. And I had to replay that over and over in my head for some time. And what I realized was I wasn't meeting the prospect's needs while they were sitting in front of me. And I couldn't figure out why. But it was because I knew that people wanted to buy from me if I was more like them, right? I mean, that's what a lot of statistics and psychology will show in sales, is that people will buy if you're more like them. So how could I become more like them? Because I knew myself that I'm a little oddball and I'm not like a lot of people. I'm very introverted, and I just like things done my own way. And a lot of people don't understand that. So how was I going to become more like the person in front of me? And I realized that I needed to find something. What I found was the personality profiling, where I could identify first who I was and then who my client was, and then be able to shift both my language and my speech patterns and body language, so that I looked and presented myself more like someone that they knew as opposed to someone who I was.
So tell me, how do you go about? So I know about the disc profile. I think both Alan and I have done that.
Love the disc profile. Yeah, and if you don't know what that is, real quick, it's a personality test. It usually takes maybe 50 multiple choice questions, and it tells you whether you're analytical or if you need to be front facing sales position. And I strongly believe that no one's made for every single job. Like your personality you're going to thrive in certain environments, and it's just matching you up with your personality in the right position. But sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I mean, my personality is more of this, I would say more of a demanding and cautious personality. I'm a high D and C. So I needed to identify who in real estate, who looking to buy and sell real estate, was a high DC who was very much like me. And I quickly realized that investors I think more like an investor. They make decisions quickly. They're leaders of their business. They're the CEOs of their business. So what I started to do was target distressed properties, or those maybe who were about in short sale or about to hit foreclosure, so that I could find the house for my clients. I already had the clients who were in my pocket or on my list that I knew I could sell them a house. I just needed to go out and get the product to sell to them. And those people were those in distressed homes. So and then what I also figured out was I didn't have to work as hard because I could make commission on selling the same home 4 different times.
So I wonder, Alan, knowing that both you and I are pretty high Ds ourselves, maybe that's why we like working with investors as much as we do.
Yeah, right. Well, I think it's quick decision making for sure. You just it's now emotional attachment. It's all a spreadsheet decision. What does the spreadsheet say that's going to make money? Buy it. I don't even need to go look at it in person sometimes.
Yeah, very task oriented people as well, right? Yeah, you just definitely hit it where there's not a lot of emotion involved. And so what I realized, in order for me to build my business, since I was missing that emotional component to connect with more people, I needed to bring along someone, a buyer's agent or what I call a partner. I don't really have this pyramid structure on my team. A partner who was able to grab those other people that I couldn't communicate well with. They would have more success. My partner would have more success with those clients who were more emotional in their decision making.
That's very interesting. I like the way, I think that's why building a team always comes in really, it feeds into that really well, because you can have people on your team that can fill in the gaps and they can communicate with clients maybe. Because I think sometimes when you have a pretty high D personality, I think that a lot of it's a lot of the way I think of it is you have the nurses in a doctor's office, right? And they're more soft and warm and touchy feely, and they make you feel good. And then the doctor walks in for 15 minutes, you got to have a surgery. We'll schedule you for next month. Off they go. And then the nurse comes back and and holds you. So I think it's a really great idea to have people on your team that are different, which also feeds back into when you are hiring a team, we tend to want to hire people that are like us because we like them, right? We like people that are like us, which comes in handy when it's time to sell. But when you're building a team, you have to build a team with people that are different than you, so that they can do all the things that you're not good at.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's exactly what I did. I needed to find someone who was definitely better at the things that I weren't good at, and paperwork isn't my strong point either. So, although I like it, I like it in order, but I don't want to do it.
Yeah. I have a little bit of a hack that I do when I'm first time meeting with a client. I will always, when we have a conversation about what kind of a home are you looking for, right? And so I'll pretty quickly distinguish their personality type, because the more analytical people are going to come in and they're going to say, I need at least 2,800 square feet. I need 2 bedrooms. I need 20 minutes from work. They're more numbers oriented versus the people that are oh, we need to be in the right school district. We need a backyard for our dog. Then you're like, okay, they're more the emotional, you need a home space kind of people. And then I know pretty quickly, if they're super analytical, I better not just come at them and be like, oh, your payment is going to be $1,500 a month, right? I better give them a breakout of every single thing, every step of the way, versus people that are just more into the emotional part of it. If I come at them with way too many numbers, they're just going to be confused. They're going to be there's way too much going on here. I just need to know what's my payment and what do you need from me next, kind of thing.
Exactly.
So how do you profile, how do you figure out what kind of a client you are working with? What type of personality they have? What are some of the telltale signs that you're looking for?
I mean, real quick is just the way that they present themselves in their dress and their mannerisms and the way that they speak. Typically, your quick decision makers will talk fast and usually with their hands. And those that are more emotional in their decision making will speak a little bit slower and are very monotonic in their speech. So those are just 2 quick indicators that I try to pick on quickly. And the other thing is their dress and how they dress themselves. Usually your emotional decision makers will be pretty flashy, and you know, for women it'll be like earrings and necklaces and handbags and handbags and handbags. For some reason I found that women who are high eyes very have like plenty of handbags. They have like a handbag inside a handbag and something inside their makeup handbag. It's very funny. It's very funny.
That's awesome.
But yeah, like just looking at you know, Jasmine, just looking at you and just the way you dress, I would know that you're probably a D or a C. It just you know, just the shirt that you're wearing and the simple necklace. That's all.
I actually use the DISC profile, and this is DISC, and each letter stands for like dominance, I don't know,
Influencer.
influencer. What is this? Something in conscientiousness. What's the S?
It's like a supporter.
Supporter. And I actually use this on other agents all the time, more than I do my clients, because like I'll send an offer over, and then the counter offer, all that person is talking about is like, hey, you the check's not inside the box. It's next to the box. We're going to have to move this into the box. And it's like, you worry about all that, and if that's your problem, and we're not talking about the price or the closing date or the earnest money, that's fine, right? All I know is that you care about that it's so nice and pretty, and all I care about is getting you an offer as fast as possible. Completely sloppy. I probably forgot to sign my name in 3 spots, but you know, it's just to get the offer to you quickly. I know there's going to be 3 or 4 versions of this offer. I don't have to get it exactly right the first time, but that's my personality. And I know the other side, it's like, hey, I want to get an offer to you today. Hey, I'm going to get an offer to you today. And it's like, you know, when I say that, you're going to have an offer in your inbox in 30 minutes. But for them, it's like, you know, 6 hours later, it's the most beautifully crafted contract. And I'm like, oh, sorry, we accepted another offer. You know, like I didn't believe you that the offer was coming in, you know? And so I've learned my lesson a few times on that, but it's really different seeing how different agents fall in the way they handle their clients in their DISC profile. There's not one right way. There's not a better way. It's everyone's different, and everyone can get success no matter what your personality is. But that's when it shows up crystal clear to me, is when I'm trying to negotiate with someone.
I see it more in text messages when agents send me this long text message about maybe an offer they sent over or multiple questions. I don't even have the I don't even want to look at it. Like, it's just like, okay, I'll look at it, you know, 3 hours later when I can. But now, no, if it's not like one line, then I'm not going to answer you.
Right. Yeah. And we would. It's not. I think because we're all the same personality, but you know, we probably should have someone fight for why that's important right now in this conversation. But I agree. Like, nothing would get done if I didn't have other people on my team that were opposite of my personality. I don't have, you know, I have to have an admin that's different from me. And so if you're more of the analytical button-up person, you probably need someone who's going to be more of the marketer and the creative type and the social on your team to kind of get your name out there more and stuff. It's all a balancing act. You can't just make it to the top on one personality. You can go pretty far, and then you got to surround yourself with complementary personality types.
100%.
I would say this applies in marriages too.
Any relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. I think my husband and I, we did a personality test. It wasn't a DISC profile, but it was something very similar to it. And we literally, like, I was all on the left and he was all on the right. Like, literally, we were like, when you put us together, it's like one whole person. We were like, babe, we're screwed. Like, we're not going to get anywhere without each other in this world.
My husband's the same as I. He's a high C and a high D as well. He's also one of my clients and an investor. So yeah, it can be like, okay, who's making the decision kind of situations, you know. So we've kind of learned this balance that we have, and we've really separated business from home life so that we're able to kind of take on different roles, I would say, you know, in the time that we are at. So for instance, if I'm texting him about some work project, I call him, you know, I text him with his first name, automatically, so that he knows that's his cue to, like, work mode, as opposed to, hey babe, are you picking the kids up?
I love it.
That's smart.
That's a good way to differentiate. And I find, we talk about this a lot in our shows. Like, I find working with your spouse is like the best thing ever, just because we really enjoy working together. But I think ultimately it really comes down to personality. Because there's people that have tried working with their spouses and it's been like, oh hell no, this is not good. This is complete mayhem, right? We have to have, like, you do your thing, I do my thing, and then we come together. So, but tell us the story of how you and your husband met. I'm curious to know this. So you guys was he your client, or?
Well, he wasn't at the time. It's a pretty cool story. At least we think. I was just on Facebook, actually, and our agent friend of mine had posted something like, hey, text me or show me all your listings. And someone came on who I didn't know, who was actually my husband's friend and partner in his business. He texted, hey, I have these 2 houses, one in this neighborhood and one in that. I said, oh, I'm a local agent in that neighborhood. Can I come take a look? So I took a look at the homes, and I met my husband that way. He was actually in one of those homes, and then we just started a business relationship. And then, we knew in about 5 months that this was going to, take us a little bit further. So yeah, we just kind of continued, and our business, like I said, life kind of blends together with everything else, and it just works. It just works. We treat our house just like our own business as well. So I think that's where it works.
And I think you guys have a handful of kids too, like as in like 5.
5 ones out of the house, and we have 4 in. 16, 14, 8, and 7. Takes me a while to think.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
That'll keep you busy. So I'm curious about your book, Become a Rockstar Real Estate Agent, 7 Steps to Make $100,000. That sounds great. You want to kind of give us a synopsis real quick on sort of your advice for agents, sort of, maybe newer and shoot for this goal?
Sure. I mean, the book kind of came out of a training program, and we saw that it was working within our brokerage to keep agents in real estate and to get their business kind of moving, because they were most likely being a little stagnant and didn't know where to start. So the book is really geared for those agents who are maybe in the business 1 to 2 years. And that's kind of where it started. And the tips are just the strategies that I've used to kind of grow my business. Taking some of the points from it will really help you. I mean, we have all this information online about, how to grow our business, whether it's social media or print marketing or cold calling. My book really says that any of those, or whatever you do, is going to work. You just have to be consistent and persistent in your daily activities, so that you're working less and less as you're able to complete more transactions. That's really the gist of the book, but it comes from this holistic place where you need to center yourself as well and really have a mind, body, and soul experience so that your business is able to grow.
I completely believe that, where it's the consistency. I love the phrase, like, it took me 10 years to be an overnight success. It's just grinding it out for 10 years. Whatever it is that you do, is it cold calling? Is it live streaming? That's going to be my thing. Is it, knocking on doors, hosting parties? Yeah. Like just be consistent. That's the person you're going to be, and make it something that you enjoy, so it doesn't feel like work. And then you're going to be an overnight success in 10 years, kind of thing.
Yeah. It becomes a matter of reverse engineering your numbers as well, right? If you know how much you want to make and how many transactions you do want to complete at the end of the year, we have to start there, right? We have to start with our end goal and work backwards, so that on a quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily basis what your activities are going to be or need to be done. So what I call them money-making activities, but they're basically producing activities, not just doing the paperwork and behind the scenes work. It's a matter of, like you said, Is it knocking on doors? Is it code calling? Is it, getting your marketing flyers out to people, or networking? Networking was huge for me. It was something that I loved to do. I didn't think I would do it being this
Yeah.
personality that I am, but I loved it. I mean, I was able to grow what I call my dirty dozen, where I had my mortgage person, my title person, my home inspector, attorneys. All those people were still in my network of team that I could be able to send any client, or with any real estate questions, I can be like, okay, call this person, they can help answer. So yeah, that was huge for me. But again, it was getting up every Wednesday morning and being at a breakfast at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Some people may not want to do that, but that's what worked for me.
I love your point about the reverse engineering, and what I heard when you said that is, if you're tracking your progress and you say, hey, I made 50 calls today, or I made 20 social media posts every day for 30 days, and either one of those activities you can say led to 10 leads, and I closed 44 of those leads, and that led to whatever, $10,000 in commission. Then you can just reverse engineer. Oh, okay. Then I need to do that activity 10 more times to 10x my business. And it's just looking at it like, what's the effort it takes to lead to one closing? And then, okay, how many closings do I want? And it's like, okay, how do I plan out my day so that I repeat this activity enough times to reach the goals that I want? Is that what you're saying by reverse engineering?
100%. That's exactly what I'm saying. Whatever money making or prospecting activity you're going to do, you have to figure out those numbers. It's one thing for me that I figured out in cold calling: for every 100 calls I make, I probably get 4 appointments, and of those 4, I could convert 1. So I knew that those 100 calls would probably take me 2 to 3 hours to make with a speed dialer. So I knew that's the time that I needed to invest. So in order to get that one client, it would take me 3 to 5 hours probably to get that one client.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting though is I agree that consistency is the key to success, right? Once you start something, whether it's a social media campaign or making those phone calls. But I'm curious about what you guys think. How do you know if it's working, or how do you know to not quit too soon, right? Just because maybe you make 94 calls and then the last 6 calls are the ones that end up being the appointments. So what advice do you have for how do you know when sending out the mailer or keeping the phone calls or this social media campaign you're doing is actually working, and when is it time to throw in the towel?
That's a good question. I don't know if I ever saw if it was working or not. I think that's hard to see. I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't say that it's very easy to see if it's working or not. I just knew that I was creating a momentum to keep everything going forward. If I was sitting stagnant and still and waiting for the phone to ring or waiting for a Zillow lead to come in, this passive activity wasn't what I don't think any sales needs. Um, I think it becomes a matter of maybe diversifying your prospecting and seeing what works best. And you're going to know as soon as you get that one listing. If I'm investing five hours and I realize that those 5 hours are going to earn me 10K in commission, I think it's worth it. I mean, some people might think that it's not, but I think it's worth it to invest the time. I mean, especially in the beginning as a new agent, right? We don't have a lot of marketing money. So our time is the money that we need to invest. So is it going to be a burnout? I think that's where we have to be a little bit patient with ourselves, or especially if we're not coming from a sales background, where we need to be patient with our activity, because you're not going to get it right the first time. It's going to take time. And by time, I mean probably 2 to 2 years. So it becomes, I think mentoring or using a coach as well will speed things up too. But to find that measure, yeah, I understand where some people may be like, oh, maybe this isn't working.
Yeah, there's a great book, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent by Gary Keller, who's sort of, a Bible for a lot of new agents to read, and highly recommend it. And he's saying any marketing campaign, minimum 6 months, because you won't know if for the results. It usually takes 6 months. And it's completely true, because I'll get something in the mail from, real estate agents or whatnot, and they'll say, hey, we're your local real estate, agency team, and this is what we sold this month. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I'll mentally keep track and be like, oh, I wonder how they're going to do next month. And then they'll get the next one next month. I'm like, okay, this team's growing. It looks like they're successful. And then I don't hear from them again. And then I'm like, wait a minute, who was that team that kept that used to send me postcards? And I can't remember the name. But if I was a buyer or a seller, it's the same sort of thing. Like, I'm not going to keep your postcard, like, why, unless but at least I'm like, oh, this person is my neighborhood person, and so I should reach out when I'm ready to buy or sell. But the fact that they stopped after 2 or 3 months, it wasn't enough time for me to download in my brain and permanently etched who that team was. So I agree. You gotta be consistent about it. But I promise you, if they kept that up, and I know it's marketing dollars, and they're probably sent out 2 mailings that cost some money, and they didn't get much traction on it. But if they would have done that for 6 months, I bet you at least would have led to one listing that paid for that whole campaign. But if they just did that for 2 years, they would probably have my entire neighborhood.
Right, right. And the 6 months, to be honest, I know Gary Keller talked about that too. I read the book as well. But science tells us that people don't remember you until the 9th time that they see you.
Yeah.
So, 6
Yeah.
months of flyers or mailers, is still isn't enough. That's why, dominating whatever market you're in, whether that's a zip code or 500, homes. That's what I chose to do, 500 homes within the neighborhood that I grew up in, or, or just 500 people in your sphere. It's got to be until the ninth time that they see and remember you, that they're going to, click and do business with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think in that same book, he says, people only have space in their brain for one realtor, maybe 2. But if you're not one of the 2 realtors people think of, the first 2 realtors that people think of, they're never going to recommend you. They're never going to refer you. And so how are you going to take up that memory in their brain? It's just constant soft touches. It could be social media. That's cheap and easy, and you could do that, quite frequently. But if you combine that with marketing, you combine that with networking events, and people, oh, I see, how great does it feel when you meet someone and they're like, oh, I get your postcards in the mail, or I see your signs all over my neighborhood. Like, oh, okay, now I have a face to the name, and that's the best feeling, right?
Yep, exactly. I mean, right now what I do is, I hit them with a postcard still, and they get a bi-weekly email.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It seems to work for me because I know that those distressed properties or estate properties are typically people who are a little bit older, so they still like paper.
Now, do you find these sort of properties, I guess, that are maybe blemished in some ways, or got some dings on them, and sort of a hot market that we're in, are they still sort of available to find, or do you have to do a little bit of creative digging, or what?
Right now, luckily enough, I have within my team someone who is referring a lot of business to me, so that's really working for me at this time. I'm thinking that with the way that we've come out of COVID and the forbearance, that there's going to be, some more properties that are going to become available for investors. I think those investors need to be ready, but with the way that inflation is, I think they're still going to be paying more for homes than what they've been used to.
Mm-hmm.
I know the New York market is quite different than it is here in Atlanta, but what is it right now in Long Island? Is it super hot? Bidding wars?
Yes, definitely bidding wars. Definitely a lot of unethicalness kind of going on. You really have to be, at least in my opinion, a really pinpoint agent that really knows how to navigate in this market. I mean, right now, I feel like anyone can get a listing if you're willing to give up a lot of value there as an agent. I'm not one of those agents who's willing to reduce my commission for, just to pick up a property because there's so few and far between these days.
Right.
But yeah, definitely bidding wars going on. I mean, I want to say our average price point, the market that I'm working in is about 700. And then we're looking at, those are even first time home buyers that are looking in the 700 range with taxes around 15,000. So, when you were talking about, Jasmine, a $1,500 mortgage payment, I'm like, oh, where's that? Because we're like more like 4 to 5,000 here.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting there. We're getting up there, even in Atlanta. But we still have properties in the $200,000 to $300,000 to $400,000 range here in the city that you can find. There are getting to be fewer and fewer of those, but yeah. Mm-hmm. We still have some first-time home buyers that manage to find pockets in neighborhoods that they can still squeeze into.
I always found that the country neighborhoods, like we have neighborhoods that are zip code in with one town, but have schools in another town. Those homes are, if you know how to navigate that, then you can kind of get your buyer in quickly. I have a buyer who has an accepted offer and someone snuck in, 5,000 more. I mean, just yesterday. And I'm like, we were there. There was no inspection contingency. Like, we're going right to contract and you're still going to entertain more offers. It was just, disturbing and heartbreaking. So we'll see.
Yeah, I always want to say, if there's any politicians listening, the best way to increase the value of your city or your town is to improve the schools. Like that's the guaranteed way to make your property skyrocket. And it seems like they're always wanting to cut the school budget. And I'm like, no, let's improve the schools. That's the best thing for the economy, for real estate investors and agents and homeowners and mortgage lenders. Like, it would affect so many people, and not to mention the kids, of course. But yeah. But
I mean, just in our school district here in Farmingdale, they are building an aquatic center. So, and they have redone all the athletics fields and everything. So the amount of people that want to get in here is like insane.
Yeah. It's great to be in a desirable area, and what I like is to see how agents are helping improve their neighborhoods, community service, really supporting the local businesses, and then all of a sudden that just makes a neighborhood pop from something that was maybe less desirable to being the hottest new thing. And so that's really exciting to see when you see agents sort of.
That's a really great prospecting for new agents as well, like just getting out there and doing community events. I know every year we do a ice cream social for the community, so that really works out well for us. It's just a matter of, again, getting in front of the audience and being at businesses and events. I loved the library and going to speaking, helping new homeowners, kind of give seminars. I mean, now we can do it via Zoom, where you're kind of right there and hosting them even during a Facebook Live. So there's so many prospecting activities to be done. It's just a matter of, like we've been talking about, just staying with it.
Well, so maybe we'll wrap up with this, Jennifer. Someone who just got their license, what would you say what should they do their first month in business?
You know what? I would say hook up with a mentor. I think it's the best way to learn the business. And you have, as a new agent, I think we want to be rewarded right away. Like, I have my license. Okay, who's going to list with me? Yeah, I'm sorry. That's really not happening. So hook up with a mentor you're really going to learn the business from the ground up. I think it's the best way for you to really learn how to speak with prospects and with clients as well, because sometimes we just don't have that jargon of distinguishing between friend and salesperson, or how to navigate some of the words that a prospect is putting at us. So a coach, a mentor, someone who's really going to guide you and through the process.
And I think joining a team, it makes sense too. Like, until you have your own spotlight, share someone else's and learn the ropes.
Yeah, I as new agents, we usually have this big personality where we want to be the spotlight of it, but it's okay in the beginning not to. I have to say that most people that I've trained have left the team so that, because they just have the personality like I do, right? I've attracted those so that they go ahead and leave the team and go on by themselves.
Right. Well, Jennifer Tucker, thank you very much for joining us. You can follow Jennifer at Jennifer Tucker 369 on Instagram. Anything else? Any other ways that people can reach out to you?
No, I'd love to give your listeners a free download of my book at rockstaragenttraining.com. They can download the book there for free, and totally enjoy it. I also offer, if you download the book, a 15-minute strategy session if there's something that they want to pound out and maybe ask a few questions.
Love it. Well, there you guys go. Free book. Who's not going to take that and learn how to be a Rockstar agent? Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom today, and best of luck and Long Island. So thank you very much.
All right. Very cool. Thanks so much, guys.
We'll see ya. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Wow, that's really interesting. I love talking to people who are not in my world, but they're still doing real estate. And so, as I used to live in Brooklyn, New York, a little bit different than Long Island, but it's really close. Well, I guess technically it was on Long Island, but but it's it's also kind of refreshing. Like sometimes when you're like, man, why is Atlanta such a hot bidding war? And it's like, oh, it's not unique to us. It happens.
It's happening everywhere. It's an interesting time in the market, but I feel like I also feel like there was a little bit of a lull during the winter. I feel like a lot of people kind of took a breather. Maybe it's with a new variant and whatnot that people just kind of stopped pushing. But I think last week, give or take, the market, like spring market, kicked in, at least from what I can tell. I'm usually ahead of the agents because I see the people that are coming in to get pre-approved.
Right.
And so they'll usually come to me, and then a couple of weeks later, that's when the agents are going to start taking them out. And it's definitely kicked in. So I think 2022 is going to be a very interesting year. The interest rates are pushing up, which is going to make for a little bit of a different market because some people are going to get priced out potentially if the interest rates are going to go up from 3s, maybe into high 3s, low 4s, something crazy like that. Affordability may become a little bit more of an issue because it was easier to afford a bigger house when the interest rates were at 2 point something. So
I don't see houses getting cheaper, and I don't see the bidding war frenzy slowing down in this year at all. So especially if interest rates are going up, people are going to want to lock in before it gets even higher. But we're at historically lows,
Still, yeah. But also, I think what's interesting is that I find that a lot of people, I have a lot more conversations with people that are buying their next like an investment property or a vacation home. And I think the fears around inflation are making people look at the 50 grand that maybe they have in their bank account. And they're like thinking like, well, what do I do to inflation proof my money? Well, real estate is hot. Let me take my 50 grand and buy a $200,000 investment property. So
right, definitely.
So
a good inflation hedge, if you guys don't know, is long-term real estate debt. If you can get a 30-year mortgage, and there's a lot of inflation, it's going to feel like your mortgage is getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper because the dollar. Imagine like Zimbabwean dollar that went up to $1 billion. But you had a mortgage of 1,000 Zimbabwe dollars, and all of a sudden your dollar is $1 billion. You can pay off your entire debt. So it's going to look ugly for the banks as inflation grows. So maybe that's why they're sort of pushing for the interest rates to go up as well. They see that not a good situation for themselves.
Yeah, right. They're writing on the wall. But I think it's also an important time that for real estate agents and for us in the mortgage business as well, to reach out to our clients. Just because somebody bought a house from you last year does not mean that you should not be reaching out to them. Because I'm having conversations with clients. Oh, I know we bought a house 3 months ago. We have some money left over. We want to buy a vacation home. We want to buy a second home. So definitely stay in front of your people and don't write off those that just bought a house, because even maybe last year, all they could do was a 3% down payment, but maybe they got an inheritance, maybe a parent passed away, life insurance, crazy stuff has been happening in the world.
Right.
And now they've got $100,000 they need to do something with. And if you let them just go on Zillow and, contact the listing agent because they forgot your name, then that's shame on you. Stay in front of your people.
I love that. I think that's great advice for sure. Definitely follow up. You never know their situation, and they're going to love to hear from you as well. Stay front of mind. Well, that does it for the Agent Upgrade podcast. Thank you for listening. Like us on Facebook, please, and Instagram and YouTube. We've got our own YouTube channel. If you want to see our faces, this is not just a podcast. You can see us on live stream. On YouTube. So come check out Agent Upgrade with Alan and Jasmine, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, guys.
Peace out.
Thank you for listening to the Agent Upgrade podcast. If you are an agent looking for a new mortgage lender, start with Jasmine at jasmineteam.com. If you want to learn about real estate investing and working with investors, check in with Alan at thehouseofac.com. See you next time on Agent Upgrade.